If you're struggling to find the motivation, the discipline to work out consistently, and you're like, I don't even know where to get started, I don't recognize myself anymore, I'm completely out of shape, and I want to find the motivation to start working out consistently, but I don't know where to start. I have kids, responsibilities, cleaning, cooking, things to do, my job, and I cannot motivate myself to get my ass up and start working out. Maybe you're jealous of other women, of other men, when you see them all the time, and you just put yourself down. Let me break down what has helped me shift my mindset to make exercise feel like it's brushing my teeth. It's like it's a part of your life and you have to do it, and it's nothing really difficult. And I hope brushing your teeth is a part of your life regularly. Anyways, let me break down my story. Maybe you can relate to my story and maybe it'll help you motivate yourself to kind of get back into things. So, I used to be an ex-basketball player. My dream as a kid was always to make it to the NBA. Maybe it was more to be like Mike. I didn't make it to the NBA. So, I identified myself as that basketball player. When that didn't come true, I ended up in the office and I started working at a desk in front of a screen. And I started to let myself go, right? Because of injuries, because of basketball. I mean, if you're a basketball player in your youth, who cares about taking care of your body, right? You just want to jump high and you want to be the best. I completely destroyed my body. I tore my meniscus, and I had meniscus issues that I carried around with me. I had chronic patellar tendonitis, so that means your kneecap, my tendon under the kneecap and around the kneecap would swell up all the time. I ruptured my Achilles tendon, which I never really recovered. I twisted my ankle tons of times. I had a horrible relationship with food. Everything was just bad. I would get bloated all the time. I had skin issues, really bad skin, and yeah, it was horrible. And when I stopped playing basketball, I stopped working out, and I didn't have fun in going to the gym anymore. I thought to be fit, you had to go to the gym, you had to deadlift heavy weights, you had to squat heavy weights, bench press heavy weights. And as a young person, this is fine, right? To push yourself. But when you get older, 30 and above, you're like, I don't have time for a gym. I have kids. I have responsibilities. I don't want to be in the gym with all the other muscle heads competing, or the women just feeling uncomfortable all the time. That's what they tell me. So I think I had enough of that and I completely let myself go. I stopped. I got demotivated. There was no more motivation for me to go work out anymore. I was like, for what, what for? I wasn't a basketball player anymore, and I'm not, trying to be a bodybuilder. So what do I need to work out for? So that's my story. Let me tell you how I got it back. These next points are really what I believe have shifted my mindset to allow me to make working out really as easy, as simple, and as a part of life. If that made sense. If you want to find the motivation to work out, you have to lower your expectations of what it means to be fit. This is really, probably the biggest thing. I think a lot of people, we have the wrong image of what it means to be fit. You honestly, you don't need a six pack. You don't need to be able to run a marathon. You don't need to be able to do a muscle up or handstand push-ups. You don't need to be able to do the splits, right? I think a lot of times we have this wrong image of what it means to be fit. And these things, even though you can achieve them, they are so far away from a lot of us, where it's like, what's the point? If that's our goal, this is extremely hard to reach, right? So I think we have to lower our expectations of what it means to be fit. And for me, what it means to be fit is to not have joint pain. So no more knee pain, no more ankle issues, to be able to run to the train without knee pain, with, out holding my knees, or crying almost in the train because my knees hurt so much. Being able to sit down for a while without my knees throbbing, being able to not have shoulder issues from sitting for a while, lower back pain, oh my goodness, from sitting for a while, having a healthy weight. So not even, having a six pack, but having a healthy weight. This should be your idea of being fit. right? So lower your expectations. That's number one. So in order to achieve this, what my definition of being fit is, and probably what your definition is too, no pain, being able to move freely without pain, being able to move freely in general, having a healthy weight, you don't need much. You do not need a gym. You do not need fancy equipment. You don't need any of this stuff. I used to believe we had to go to the gym, do deadlifts, plyometrics, heavy squats, bench press. You don't need any of that. I promise you, if you stick to basic things like the push up, the pull up, the squat, those three alone, will do amazing things to your body. Mastering those three to all your joints. They move pretty much every single joint in the body. The ankle, the knee, the hips, the lower back gets stabilized. The wrist has to stabilize and work. The elbow, the shoulder joint, everything moves, right? We strengthen every major muscle in our body with those three exercises alone. And amazing. That's all I can say. And if you combine that with some walking, right? Walk every day. I love walking. I try to do 1 to 2 kilometers every single day. 1 kilometer takes me about 10, maybe 12 minutes, depending on the speed I'm doing. Sometimes even less than that if I'm walking on the treadmill inside. I try to get the speed up. But yeah, and sometimes I'll do 2 kilometers, so that takes me a bit longer, 20 something minutes. But everyone can do walking, right? And if you combine that with your occasional jog or run, you don't have to if you don't want to, but maybe just go to the court, shoot some hoops. I love to shoot some hoops every once in a while, people, even if it's just by myself. I'm not playing with others. This is a bit of cardio as well. Gets my heart rate up, but it's fun. It's not as boring as going for a run. Sorry, runners, I don't want to offend you. I know a lot of people love running, but I can't stand running. So putting a ball in a bucket does something else for me. And if you can't do a pull-up, you do your version of the pull-up. There's so many ways that you can do a pull-up with the same effect, or a pulling exercise with the same effect. It's unbelievable. It's the same exact thing. It's just less resistance if you can't lift your body weight. I know a lot of people can't do that, but it's fine. You can work your way up to that, or you can just do your version and just be fine with that. But you're still strengthening the muscles in your back, which is extremely important if you sit down if you sit down all day and you're in this posture, right? We need to strengthen our back, and we need to start lifting our arms over our heads way more. And the good thing about the simplicity of this, when it comes to health, we have our sleep, our nutrition, our stress levels, and let's say exercise. And if you follow this and you keep exercise simple, the push-up, pull-up, and squat, 3 exercises that everyone can do. Again, the pull-up, your pulling version, and you do maybe a little bit every day. I try to tell people this, try to stick to 5 sets per week. That's 45 minutes per week. If you split it down, 6 minutes a day, everyone can do this. And if you start doing resistance training, right? Strength training, strengthening your muscles, improving your joints. The others, your eating will improve. I guarantee you, if you start doing push-ups and squats and pull-ups every day, you'll start eating better. It's just an effect that's going to happen. Plus, you'll start putting on muscle, which will help your metabolism. You'll start burning more calories. Your sleep will improve. Obviously, you're exercising and you're reducing stress. I know oftentimes we like to go to meditation, go on these yoga retreats and stuff. But I promise you, if you go outside, you shoot some hoops, you go for a walk, or you do some resistance training for yourself for 10 minutes, that is the same thing as meditation. You're taking time for yourself. Very important. Another thing that shifts the mindset of a lot of people is finding a sport that they love. Finding something that you're passionate about, something that's fun, right? Exercise is good and great, but doing push-ups and squats, I've found it's a habit for me now, but for people in the beginning, it can be a little boring. So if you find a sport, this will help you to motivate yourself, because if you find a sport, let's be honest, putting a ball in a bucket does something to millions, billions, I don't know, millions or billions of people around the world. It's just something about that. Just like running, just like maybe playing tennis, just like swimming, just like what other sports are there? Soccer, some people love, just like badminton. The thing about the sport is we're socializing with others. It's fun. We're talking. It's an easy way. We know this. When you're in sports, I can move to any country, find a basketball team, a local team that just plays for fun, a hobby team, and connect with others. So it's amazing. And this group of people will also motivate me to stay fit. You know what I mean? I make new friends. It's just win-win for everyone, right? And another thing that really helps with motivating yourself to work out is realizing that you should not compare yourself to others. Now, this is another big one. I think we compare ourselves to others because we then think if we see someone who we think, okay, this person looks better than me, is in way better shape than me, can jump higher than me. Oh, what are people going to think about me? Because this person's so good. What is the other person going to think about me? What are other people going to think about me? And I think this is a big reason why we compare ourselves to others. And ultimately, I think we have to then realize no one cares about you or me or them. No one really cares. And I think once we understand this, that no one cares, it doesn't matter if you can't jump that high, if you don't have a six pack or whatever your form is, at the end of the day, no one really cares. And I think if we understand that, that will really help us to say, okay, it doesn't matter what I look like now. It doesn't matter what this person looks like. If this person's faster, this person's stronger, more muscular, less fat, no one really cares. And I think that makes things much easier. When I was play basketball, I think we do this all the time. We compare ourselves. I wasn't able to jump high enough. My shot wasn't as good as someone else's shot. So that made me feel a certain type of way about myself. So I would go then work out much harder so I can then beat this person. And when you're younger, maybe this is fine because in some people, I think the competitive nature then comes out. But once you reach a certain age, you have responsibilities, kids, cooking, cleaning, things to do. You don't have time to worry about what other people are thinking of you. So just let that go. This next point is I really, really wonder, and this is what is something I had to realize myself. How do you want to be when you're 80 years old? This is just a simple question that I ask tons of people. How do you want your life to be when you're 80? Do you want to be in the bed, having a difficult time moving, having a difficult time getting up and down from the floor? So many people struggle with getting down on the floor and getting up from the floor. It's crazy. Knee pain, just difficulties getting up, not the strength, out of breath, getting up from the floor. I've seen this plenty of times, ask them to get up and down from the floor 2 times. Crazy. And if you're 40 right now, how do you expect this to be when you're 80? And I ask people this all the time. How do you want your life to be when you're 80? Right? So tell people a story. There's a client of mine. He came a couple years ago. His goal was to improve his pull-ups. He was 70 at the time. He was maybe 71, 72. I think he's 74, 75 now. If you look at how this guy can move, you would not assume this guy is 75 years old. No way. Like, there's no way you would say, oh, this guy's 75 years old. No way. Just on how he can move. It's unbelievable, people. If you can move, you will feel younger. We know this, right? So tell yourself, how do you want to be when you're 80 years old? Do you want to struggle when you're moving, right? Do you want to, have pain? Do you want to go to the doctors all the time? No, I think a lot of times we shouldn't rely on doctors. We should rely on ourselves. Take care of ourselves. Of course, we need doctors to save us if we get in an accident or if we get a disease, illness, or whatever. But a lot of times we can really take care of ourselves. It's unbelievable. And this last piece of advice is, I would say, common sense, but everyone knows exercise is good for your body. I mean, that exercise is good for your body. Everyone knows this. And I think this should be motivation alone to say, okay, I'm going to start doing something good for my body. I'm confident in myself. I love myself. I love my body. I want to do something good for my body. I'm going to start exercising. So going for a walk every day, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers every day, maybe shooting some hoops, every day if you want to, or once a week. Doing some resistance training, the most important thing for your body, resistance training, strengthening your joints, strengthening your muscles, putting on muscle, which will help your metabolism, your sleep, your stress level, will help you maintain your weight. Yeah, and just help you move better. So, in like I said, even if you only do 10 minutes a day or 45 minutes once a week, you're doing something for your body, and that's something that everyone can manage. So if you know that exercise is good for your body, you know what to do, and now it's really just about doing it. If you do need help in getting back on track and you're looking for a coach to maybe help you out, I would love to hear your story. You can fill out the form in the description, answer some questions, and I'll get back to you. And maybe that's that motivation, that push, that extra push that you need. Yeah, let me know if you have any other questions in the comments below, feedback or whatever, and I'd be happy to reach back out to you. See you. Have a good one.